Hello and welcome to this video. Heather Crider here, and I hope you're doing great. It's fast approaching the holidays right now here, depending upon when you watch this. So I hope things are going great for you. I want to talk about briefly, if I can, in a brief possible way, outsourcing. And here's the question of the day. When is outsourcing appropriate? How do you make sure you're not wasting your time and money on it? Or do you just keep pressing forward with your content until it's truly time to outsource? So obviously this question is different from each person and for each business. And one of the things I love to do is really dissect your business and get inside of there and find better ways to make it efficient and increase your revenue as fast as we can. That's the bottom line. Because if you're not getting your message out there and selling, then you're probably going to get frustrated and give up. Let's just be honest. That's what it's all about, is not necessarily about making money. Don't get me wrong. I think we tend to not want to talk about making money. We want to pretend that revenue is something that just mysteriously happens. And sometimes it does, but let's be honest. Yes, we want to help people. I hope that your heart's in the right place, but we also want to make money, and we want to do really darn good and make good money, right? And if we're not making money, if we're not taking care of ourselves, if we're not happy and fulfilled, then we cannot possibly help others. That's the bottom line. And I have a whole other video series that I've created on really understanding fulfillment through revenue. But if we just, let's just cut through the BS right now. If we're making revenue, then we have a whole lot more resources to give and help and impact a whole lot more people. So you cannot possibly give what you don't have. That's just the bottom line. And that's the way it works. So let's just let's clear the air there. But the question about outsourcing, I believe in outsourcing. I think outsourcing is fantastic when you're ready and when you can actually manage it well. So if you've never outsourced before, then the first thing I would ask you is, do you have processes created that can be replicated easily if somebody else were to follow them? So from a very simple point of view, let's just hypothetically say you have a great social media posting scheduler, which is technically outsourcing if you think about it, using those automation scheduling tools. If you are able to create a content calendar and show how you come up with your content, how you've created it, then can somebody else do that for you? Chances are, if you block your own time and you use a social media automator or scheduler, then there's not a whole lot more outsourcing is going to be able to do other than that content creation. And content creation, I think, should be one of the last things that you outsource, because that's where it's really personal and near and dear to the core of what you're trying to convey, your message, right? And it's a lot harder to have that consistency with outsourcing or staff, to have the consistency with what your message and being able to resonate to your audience appropriately, if that makes any sense. So what I'm trying to say with that is, if you just simply understand what you need done, have the processes created easily, then outsourcing is great. So from a social media point of view, if you are just inspiration or quotes or things like that, or pictures, images, you can outsource a great deal of that to be able to help you find quotes, to be able to help you find images, but you still have to have a process. So let's say that you are so stretched thin in your business on time and you've got some resources that you're okay with outsourcing, meaning you can afford it. You can afford to outsource a little bit and you're just trying to free up some time. First question is, are you trying to free up time or are you mismanaging your time? Can you block time? Can you do things where you can be a little bit more efficient with your time first and foremost? If the answer to that is no, you're as efficient as you can be, you just strictly want help, then I would say, what's the simplest thing that's time consuming that you can take and give to someone else? And usually that's research type of things. Find images, find quotes, find or create images. You have a style. If you've not created a brand board, I would suggest doing that. And you can even outsource somebody to create your brand board. But what your brand board is your logo with your fonts, your strengths, your main mission, your colors, potential illustrations and icons that you might use, your color palettes, things like that. That brand board is going to help you stay consistent in everything you do, right? Coca-Cola, I can't believe I used that. I'm sorry. Scratch that. Don't think of Coca-Cola. I don't want anybody drinking Coca-Cola, okay? Tesla. I'm trying to think of, here's a great one. Hot Wheels. This is my Hot Wheels, my Tesla Hot Wheels. Apple. I'm thinking of brands, right? Brands. You automatically, if you saw the Apple logo, you know that's Apple. If I saw, most people saw the Tesla logo, you know that that's Tesla. And Coca-Cola. If you saw the Coca-Cola logo, you know it's Coca-Cola. Target. I saw a really cool billboard the other day that it had the partial Target emblem, their symbol. It was just a partial one on the bottom part of the billboard. And I usually don't recommend billboards, but I thought this one was really cool the way they did it. And the Target emblem was at the bottom, and then it just said, I think, the exit number along the highway, like exit, whatever. And I thought that was really cool because we know that that's Target. We know that that's their logo. And in exit 9 and 1 mile, I can go to Target. So consistency of incorporating your brand font, name, colors, logos, icons that are reflective of what your brand is trying to do. If you have those things consistent, it's going to help with brand recognition. But my point is when you're creating things, you have to have a process. So if I have my brand board and then I have a process of find a quote with this image and then create a quote post in using this font, this particular edging or font, colors, etc. It's a process. So if you have that easily created, then you could probably get outsourcing to help you do that. That's just an example on social media. You can create videos. I'm very big into instructional videos for outsourcing. I think outsourcing is great. You have to have a process. Make it simple. Make it dummy proof. I don't like using that word, but it's true. Make it dummy proof that anybody can follow. If you can do that, then outsourcing is great. Make sure process.st is a really good place that you can create documents and processes to be able to help you streamline those things, and it's all there. I love using Basecamp and Asana, Teamwork, those types of tools to store and house things too, to be able to share with people I outsource with. So it's all about really management, and once you've created a system, just stick to it, enhance it, make it easy to follow. But How do you make sure you're not wasting your time on outsourcing? I think the real question is are you ready? Is it something that you're, again, like I said earlier, are you managing your time well enough, or are you just really, really that strapped for time that you need outsourcing? So those are the first questions to ask, and then can you manage it well? To make sure you're not wasting your time and money on outsourcing, I think the clearer you can be and the more well defined on the tasks, having videos, instructions ready, having the processes and checklist, brand boards, etc., having those things ready, the better it's going to be. I tend to love to do things myself, which is time consuming and can get me into trouble. But what I have found is if I know what I want, I feel like I can create it faster myself. And that used to be true, but now I have learned that if I can translate my vision clear enough with good enough instructions, then typically outsourcing it is going to be better for me because I can do other things that are more important for my time. The main thing with outsourcing is, are you ready? If it's going to really, really impact you financially, maybe you do bartering. Maybe you find people you can trade services with. For example, if you need a website and you're trying to do that yourself and doing websites are not your thing, you're probably going to spend a lot of time and be frustrated. Now, you can do a website. There's great website builders that you can do, but you just need to think about your time and how efficient your time is. And maybe you can barter. Maybe you can trade services with somebody. If you are really in the trenches with your business on content, with proofreading, with jazzing it up, making it pretty as far as handouts, things like that, I would say you probably could outsource those things again if you were clear on the style, the type of document you're wanting to create, making sure that you're consistent with your brand and the image and things like that. So it really does kind of depend on where you're at with your business, what you can afford, and what you can manage, and how clear you can communicate your needs, and then keeping up with that. It sounds overwhelming, but it's not. I love outsourcing when it's appropriate. Onlinejobs.ph is a great source for the Philippines, and to be able to outsource some things to the Philippines. I have found with using that again, you have to be very, very specific and very detailed with what you're asking for. You can't, unless you have an assistant sitting right next to you, typically you can't expect these people to think through anything. That's the assumption I make when I outsource. I assume they can't think through anything on their own, and if I'm as clear as I can be, it's repeatable, then it's a great thing to outsource. You just have to decide. Upwork, Freelancer, those are also good resources. Or again, local people, different types of, just depending upon what you're looking for, local people, if they're just starting out, maybe again, trading services, sometimes interns. I have used in the past interns to pay, and interns that they get credit for the experiences. And that's been great. That has really worked out well. And it's given me an opportunity to feel like I have had an impact on some of these students as well. So when is outsourcing appropriate? When you can manage it and when you can afford it. And when you're clear. If you're really just starting out and you're not sure what you're doing, then outsourcing minimal things, maybe design things or websites, minimal things. If you're trying to outsource because you don't know what you're doing or you're pulling at straws, you're probably just going to spin your wheels. when you're clear, you have a process, you have documentation or video of some sort, that's going to help you. So I hope this has been helpful. Please send me feedback. Let me know what else I can help you with. And I wish you all the luck, and we'll see you soon.